It's 9 o'clock in the morning. In 1 hour's time, the 34th Safari Rally will start. Already here in Nairobi, the temperature is well into the 80s. It looks as though it's going to be a dry event. In the World Championship, Lancia and Peugeot currently share the lead. But here, Toyota must start the favourites. They have, in fact, won the last 4 African rallies. They have a 3-car team, and Bjorn Waldergard, the winner in 1984, must be the favourite for this event as well.
It's a nice rally to compete in. I mean, you shouldn't like to do a long-distance rally all the time, but as a complement to European driving, it's fantastic, very fascinating.
You allowed young Mr. Kankkunen to take the honours last year. You'll be looking to retain being on the winners' rostrum this year, I assume.
I mean, that's always what you are hoping for, and I hoped for it last year as well, and I didn't give it away, but it has to be that way when I had some technical problem. But we are here to try to win again, yes.
Last year you were perhaps one of the unluckiest men in the rally, yes?
Yes, last year we had bad luck in the last 300 Ks. We had a small problem with a screw which fell into the engine and destroyed the valve.
But you were at the time leading the rally?
We was leading in this time half an hour from in front of the second one.
So this, I think, is a very good example of how the Safari Rally is not won until you arrive back here on Wednesday morning.
This is true, and you have to be on the finishing ramp, then you have won the rally.
The Lancia team are here in force, looking to score vital World Championship points against Peugeot. What is the maximum speed of their car?
220, but that's maybe too much. I go all the time 7,000 revs. That means I haven't 205, something like this, speed like that.
And at that, the car and yourself are feeling very comfortable?
You know, here in many animals and like that, you know, we're in safety. But, you know, I am sure you go more than 200 here is coming a little bit risk.
Very much aware of the risk of African roads is Alain's teammate, Mickey Biassion, who's already had problems in practice.
Yes, there was a big hole in the road after a jump, and I have not seen because it was the first time that I ended the car was going into, and after I make a 6th round with the car and I stop. What's happened? And now they have put in the radar, pay attention.
They've put a caution there now.
Yes, sure.
Checker, for you, a new car this time?
Brand new. The new generation.
Is four-wheel drive going to be a big advantage on this event?
It depends on the weather. I think on the dry it is still an advantage. Obviously going uphill on hairpins and so on. But not a huge difference. But in the dry, what we will have is less tyre wear. That's the main advantage. So we can use softer compound.
Now, you've actually won the event 5 times.
That's right.
Has it changed now, the format of it, now that you have the new breed of supercars and super drivers here, or is it still an event that one drives with one's head?
I think in some respects the event has changed with the advent of these supercars. The speeds are so much higher. It's more difficult to get away with something. If you go over a brow and there's a hole, you're going maybe 50, 60 kilometers an hour faster. But on the other hand, I think it is still a long rally with very little service time, so the fastest man doesn't usually win.
And how does this car compare with other cars that you've driven?
Oh, it's chalk and cheese.
The addition of air scoops on the roof of the 205 has caused the other team managers to have words with the scrutineer, giving team boss John Todd just another problem to cope with. But for last year's rally winner, the right apparel is the only problem. Juha, you're looking very relaxed. Do you think you can repeat last year's performance?
It's going to be difficult, but everything seems to be fine now, and slept well like usual, and this is not, I'm not so nervous before this kind of rallies than, example, Monte Carlo or those rallies.
This event, it can take you even 1 or 2 days before you start to figure in the top 3, and it still doesn't concern you, huh?
No. And I think third leg, part of the first leg, there is some rough Zulu Hills, Taita Hills, all famous ones. And second leg is quite easy, but I think third leg is going to be the hardest one, and most of the things start to be happening in the third leg.
Last year you won the rally in a 2-wheel drive car. Is 4-wheel drive going to be a big advantage to you today?
Four-wheel drive is today's rally car, but it doesn't matter so much in Africa because, especially when it's dry here, you can drive sometimes even faster with the 2-wheel drive than 4-wheel drive. But if it rains a little bit and something like that, it helps for sure.
The temperature today will probably get to somewhere around about 100 degrees or 30 degrees C. How warm will it be in your car?
I don't know. We didn't have any warm testing, but last year there was something like 60, 70 degrees Celsius. Celsius, yes. So it can be, I think, 50, 60 today.
Despite the success of the Delta, Lancia chose to use the older 037. Team boss Cesare Fiorio explains.
We already had 2 years of experience on this model in the Safari, and with the crazy calendar we have to follow during the season, there was no time to develop the Delta as well for this event. So we decided to come with an old car, which still I think is a very good car for this type of event.
But it's this car that starts favourite, and despite some pre-event problems, team boss Henry Liddon is in a relaxed mood.
The drivers themselves have had a fantastic practice. It's been wonderful, you know. But on the backup side, yes, we've had 1 or 2 problems, but that's what we're here for, to solve those problems.
Starting from this position, having won the last 4 events, you've also got the strongest team. It looks as though it's going to be dry. Is it more difficult attempting the rally from that position?
Yes, I think so. When we came here the first time, well, when the team came here the first time, you know, nobody expected us to do well. In fact, one of the rival team managers said, if they get to the end of the first leg, I'll eat my hat. So now, having won it, you know, we can only do worse, which is a terrible position to be in.
You've got 2 new team members as far as the Safari is concerned. Are there any tactics? Is there going to be a hare situation and Waldergard sat back waiting, or are they just going to drive their own event?
Well, I've said, of course, that Bjorn knows more about the event probably than anybody else in the world, and you can't tell him anything. He will dictate what he wants to do. I mean, he's a masterful tactician. He's gone through the service schedule. He's gone through the tyre plan, the petrol thing. He knows what he's going to do.
And the Swedish practical joker presents his protégé from last year with a timely reminder that he'll be chasing hard this year. And as Jomo Kenyatta looks down on the start round, Juha Kankkunen, who won the rally at his first attempt last year, sets off looking to extend his World Championship lead. Behind him, Waldergard, co-driven by Fred Gallagher. And Marco Allen's old Lancia. And now time to relax for the event's supremo, Mike Doughty.
Well, yes, I can relax a little bit. I'm running around checking to make sure that everything I've done is actually working.
So now, how do you go about the rally now? Do you stay here in Nairobi, or do you travel around the event? What's your format over the next 5 days?
No, I'm afraid I'm stuck here in the Ivory Tower.
The rally is in 3 legs, the first of which will take the crew south through the classic Chula Hills, then down to Voi, before returning to Nairobi on Sunday morning. While some of the local residents await the first cars, it should be remembered that the safari is unique, insofar as all of the roads are open to the public all of the time. The surfaces vary from tarmac to murram, a hard-packed red shale, which when wet turns to slime. And the crews must be prepared to share the roads with all manners of transport. No doubt this a good reason for Waldergard's somewhat cautious start. The Martini Lancias of Marco Allen and teammate Mickey Biasion are also economising on the revs in these very early sections. For the first time, Fuji Heavy Industries had entered an official team of Group A RX turbos for Mike Kirkland, Possum Bourne and Frank Tundo. This being good news for this man, Shekham Ekta, as one of his companies.